Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Meredith with Top Rope Media, and today we're just going to be walking through social media marketing. We'll talk about which platforms you might be using and also how to advertise on some of these platforms. I will spend most of my time talking about Facebook and Instagram. We'll also look at Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. If you do have any follow-up questions, feel free to email me, meredith@topropemedia.com. So as we dive in, a couple of things to think about is, what is your overall strategy here as you're dealing with social? What is working for you? Have you looked at each of these platforms to determine, will this be marketing directly to the demographic I'm trying to reach? If not, can I set up ads on this platform that will help me do that better? And, keep in mind, does this support your overall strategy and the goals that you have for your business? And it can get quite time intensive. So keep that in mind. You can spend hours sometimes on these platforms, especially Pinterest and Instagram can be, quite addictive. If you're not familiar with them, you'll see that in a moment. But yeah, make sure you have the time and the resources to spend using these platforms. If not, figure out what you could be doing instead. Should you be out doing business development and perhaps you bring someone in that is going to manage your digital marketing, or again, that you're running targeted advertisements on specific channels that are going to help drive leads to your website or your podcast or your app. So keep that in mind as we go through a lot of this. And then also, with your social strategy, if you're using a multiple, a bunch of different channels, make sure that you're using a content calendar or something to help you track your scheduling and what's coming up. I usually share this with a lot of clients. It's a content calendar that goes by week. I can put in any editorial opportunities, events that are coming up. I'll put in deadlines when I need content by. I'll also indicate when things should be published. If it's really specific, what time of day maybe a newsletter or a post needs to go out, I'll put some notes in there or links to additional campaigns, whether that's photos, blogs, anything like that in this calendar so that I can start planning out my year. And I'll sometimes go through this, every 3 months. I'll try and build up so that I'd have content now up until possibly July. And then I'll start thinking about August, September, October. But I can plan out my whole year here if I want. It just depends on, again, how much content you plan to be putting out, looking up, what's happening in your industry. Are there events that you could be talking about? Maybe you're not going to be at them, but do you need to be talking and using that hashtag or talking about a holiday to help you drive more traffic? So I'll be sending this out to a lot of clients early on once we get started so that we can stay on the same page, especially if there's a few different people that are managing marketing for the business. So again, this is a content calendar. I use this with one of my clients, Casco. And one of the main channels that we use to help us with advertising and marketing and spreading the message is Facebook. So this is the back end of my Facebook. I use Business Manager. So Business Manager in Facebook is something you can set up, and it gives you the opportunity to have everything in one place when it comes to ads, when it comes to looking at your audience, things like billing, and then also if you're going to be adding other people to help you manage the account. I like doing everything from this platform. But if we go back to just what you typically see on the back of your business page, across the top, you'll see the page, ad center, and inbox, notifications. And, as we're used to with social media, it's going to tell us if we have anything that's pending that we haven't seen yet. Insights, which are your analytics, and then publishing tools, which allow you to schedule out posts in advance across the Facebook platform. So one of the big reasons that I use Business Manager is I run a lot of ads from Business Manager for both Top Rope Media, which is me, but then I also do that for several clients. And here within your regular posts, this one, just went up yesterday. I'm talking about, teaching in National City, and Facebook is going to tell me right away if a post is performing well. Their goal is to get you to spend money on ads. And so they make it really easy now for you to boost a post and reach a larger audience. I don't recommend just boosting that post, especially if you see this message or you're getting sometimes an email in your inbox that says this post is performing really well. It is a way to go about setting up ads, but I think especially if you're new to ads with Facebook, set them up from the beginning within the ad center, because I think that's going to help you get more familiar with how to structure the ad, what audience you want to use, etc. So for that, I'm going to take you over to, let's go to Mr. Brown's, is another client that I work with. And we'll just take you over to their page. And from here, I can see, the same back end that I do see on Top Rope Media, but we're going to click on Ad Center. And when I open the Ad Center, I can see all the advertising that I've done. This is toggled for the last 60 days. And so I've only been running one ad. My spend is very small. If you're just starting out with ads, I recommend starting small. Your spend can be, $2 a day, just to get an idea of how to set these up. And then you can always increase that. If an ad isn't working, you can pause it. You can delete the ad as well. So keep that in mind. It's not something that's permanent that has to run and spend your entire budget. And from this ad center, I see, what I've spent. I see any recent ads that I've run, and I also see the results of those ads. A lot of times I'll run ads specifically to get someone to visit a website. Sometimes I have an event that I'm sharing. Other times I want people to book now, or if you have a product, I want people to purchase. So buy now or shop. So keep that in mind as you're creating these ads. What are you going to be linking out to? Are you sending people to your website to read more? Are you pushing them to a blog on your site? Are you asking people to call you or to make an appointment? What exactly do you want them to do? What's the call to action that you want in these ads? Definitely get that in mind. Write down some of your subject line ideas, your keywords, your audience. Kind of jot all this down before you even go into some of these applications to start setting up an ad. It's just going to make things move a lot faster. If I come over here within this platform, I can see, my spends haven't been that big. I've run a few ads that I think have been quite successful, especially asking people to book now. And this is, again, for Mr. Brown's is a barber shop. So that book now button brings them to be able to make an appointment through an online system. And we've seen a lot of success with that. From here, I can view the full results, and I can also promote that ad again if I'd like to, if it was working well. But for now, let's just go up to, let's go to create ad. And when you get to the page, it asks you, how do you want to grow your business? And, you know, the easy way that Facebook automatically pushes towards you is to boost a post or an event, get more leads, promote your page, promote, you know, your book now button, if you're just looking for local traffic, or get more website visitors. So let's select that one. And then it brings up kind of the ad creative. And again, as I mentioned, take some notes on this before you get into the back end. Most of these systems will look very similar, but having that copy written out and having files and websites lined up that you want to put into this ad is going to make it run much smoother. So for the URL, as I said, I want to send people to a specific page. Instead of just sending them to the main page on their site, let's say I want people to visit to host an event at Mr. Brown's, not even to come in for a haircut or trim. Maybe they just want to host an event. And I've written a blog post on their site specifically about how to host an event, what the space looks like, what kinds of events you can have there, what are the rules. I'm just going to copy that link, and then I'm going to go back into my ad that I'm creating and put that here. And you'll notice it will update you live and show you what it looks like over here on the right. You'll see the desktop version, the mobile feed version, and then also Instagram, Stories, Messenger. So these are all the platforms that running this ad can run on. And I'll show you in a second how you can kind of toggle out of these if you just want it on one specific platform. And this is telling me right away, my ad may not run because there's a lot of text. It's just linking to this one picture on the home page. And Facebook has a few rules and regulations about setting up ads and things that you cannot promote. So pay attention to that. It's probably not going to run with that much copy and the graphic. So I try and keep it really simple and use you know, just maybe images, or if I'm overlaying text, I will use a few words and that's it. So Father's Day sale, Mr. Brown's barbershop, something very simple, and leave it at that. Now, if you come down below the URL that you've put in, you want to choose the format. So are you creating just a single image that you're going to use? My recommendation is to upload a video if you have one. If not, create a slideshow. And this basically helps you create a lot more movement. It attracts more eyes to your ad. And it's something that you can use, and you can create it just with adding photos to it. So it acts almost like a video to Facebook and how people are viewing it. So again, it pushes more traffic towards your ad, which is really nice. So I clicked slideshow. From here, I'm just going to go create slideshow. And then it's going to ask me if I want to upload photos. You have, I think, about 10 photos you can add. I can change the aspect ratio, maybe make it rectangular, keep it on 1 second, the image duration, so how long it's going to be shown, and then maybe the transition, I want to fade in my images. So again, you can add a video, but right now I'm adding photos. And so this is going to pull up photos that I've already uploaded to my account. If you've never uploaded a photo, click Upload Images and download them from Dropbox or wherever you keep your images. So for this ad, I'm going to use, let's say, we'll just select a few images here that I think look fun. I like the black and white style. And I'll click Continue. And then it will prepare my slideshow for me. I can pick these images and move them around. If I want it to show a different image, I can also change the time that I want it to show that image for, and then I can test it out here to see what it looks like. You know, and maybe I think that's a great party, you know, scene, but you're seeing too much of these barber chairs and it doesn't really look like an event space. So maybe I want to add in, you know, something else that's going to look a little bit more attractive to people coming in. And maybe I want to highlight the lounge area. And then let's pick another one. The pool table. One more. And then kind of that shop area that's in there. So I've added a few more images. I click continue. It's just going to reformat that slideshow. My images are now there. I can move them around. And play the slideshow again. Make sure that's what I want. Looks good. And then click create slideshow. So it could take a couple minutes for your slideshow to update. In the meantime, you can scroll down and get started on your headline and the text that you want, and then also what your call to action is going to be. As I mentioned, this one is sending people to a blog. So I want it to be learn more as opposed to book now if I was sending them to make an appointment, or shop now if I'm selling a product. So learn more. And then headlines, you can see you're limited on the number of characters you can put here. So I probably want to be really careful, and that's why I say to write a lot of this out. It helps give you some ideas about what type of copy and the length of copy you can put here. It looks like my video is uploading. But again, I'll probably want to shorten this up because this headline appears right down here. So I could say, you know, host your event. And already you can see, and it will tell me, you know, I can't go any farther than 25 characters. So I really have to kind of wordsmith what I want that heading to say. And then again, what I want that text to say here. So make sure you've sorted that out. Then as you scroll down, you get to select your audience. Now I have audiences that I've already used before in marketing, but let's say I just want to create a new audience. I want to go in here. You can click edit. You can also create new audience. And then you'll get to choose the gender, the demographics. So I want all people to see this, maybe the age. I'll take this up to 30 and bring this to 50. I'm looking for people that want to book this space for an event, let's say. I want people that would be hosting a cocktail reception or maybe people coming into town for a Comic-Con. The locations I want this ad to be shown to, definitely San Diego, but because I've done this before, I know how big that bubble will be when I set San Diego. I probably want to pick some areas to the north. So I'm going to look at Carlsbad and extend this maybe to a 50-mile radius, so 50 miles around Carlsbad. Something that brings me up into LA, but doesn't quite cover. So maybe I want to say Los Angeles because there's lots of party planners and people are going to be coming into town for Comic-Con. That would be a really fun space to book for an event. And I'll set all of these actually to 50. So you see now I've covered quite a lot of area. If you're looking to, you know, maybe you're doing a virtual accounting, or you're offering online services, and it can be anywhere in the US. You want to pick your key markets here, and you can extend those out up to 50 miles. But feel free to play around with this, and down below, you'll start to see what your audience looks like and how many people that ad will reach. 6 million people. For me, it says audience is defined, but that's a little high for me. So I want to be really specific here as to who I want this ad to be shown to. Maybe I want to search job titles. I'm looking for, say, special event planners. So I can go in here. And special events coordinator, director of special events. Let's look at people that have those kind of job titles. Say, director of special events. You know, it says fewer than 1,000 people. So I probably want to grow this a bit. Maybe I'll say anyone that has an interest in Comic-Con. You know, so now that ad is going to, you know, anyone that directs events, but also anyone that has an interest in Comic-Con. And it's giving me an estimate of about 540,000 people in this area. So for me, that's going to be great. I'm going to save that. And then here you can decide if you want to set automatic placements. So automatic placements mean they decide who to show your ad to and where. So that spend is divided up across several platforms, that platform being Messenger, Instagram, Instagram stories. So again, you can toggle that off if you only want it shown on Facebook and unclick those. Or if you want it shown across all platforms, just keep that toggle on. And as I mentioned before, you can see here what your ad's going to look like on your desktop, on mobile, and then even things like your Instagram feed. So once you decide on where you want to place it, then you set your budget and you decide how long you want your ad to run for. So I can decide that I want this ad to run continuously. So you can also set things, you know, specific days or times I want it to run. But I'd like to run it continuously. And my daily budget, let's say it's $5 a day. And I'll just go back there and show you. It gives me an estimated number of clicks per day based on my spend. So from here, I get a good idea of about how many people are going to click on that learn more link when I'm sending this out. So $5 a day, choose when this ad will end. Let's say I don't want to just run it continuously. I want to be really specific. I only want it to run for 7 days. Let's say this is $35. It will run from 7 days. It will end in May. It's tracking the Facebook pixel. So if you're not familiar with the pixel, it's basically a code, like a snippet of code that you put on your website. And it helps you report conversions and also helps you to figure out what audience is coming to your site based on perhaps an ad that you run. So you can you know, look up information on Facebook about the pixel. Also in Business Manager, one of the drop downs will say pixel. If you go up here and open up Business Manager again, so that you can figure out how to get that pixel on your website and that it's working before you start these ads. All right, so let's say I want to do 14 days. I want this ad to run. We're spending $5 a day. I have my pixel, and then I need to enter in a payment. So there's no way for your ad to run or for them even to begin the review process of your ad unless you have a credit card attached to that. If I click promote, it will tell me, I'll get an email. I'll also get a notification on Facebook that says you have an ad that's under review, and then Facebook will let me know if that ad is approved. If it's something like this where it's just images only, there's nothing that's against the rules and regulations that Facebook has, there's not a lot of copy, that ad will be approved. And then I'll get updates on how it's running, but I can always go into Ad Center and see how it's running. I can set up from here, if I want to set up a few different ads, I can do that. And then maybe using different copy, maybe I want to test out, you know, almost like a little bit of A/B testing. I can test out a different headline here. So A/B testing is just, you know, testing one thing against another. So A against B. And I might test like, host your graduation party at Mr. Brown's Barbershop, or I could test host your Comic-Con event versus just host your next event and see which one performs better, and then shut off the other ads that are not performing as well and leave the one that's performing well, leave that running. And so there's a lot that you can do within this application. And there's A/B testing that you can do within, you know, different platforms, but it does work really well with Facebook and Google Ads as well, to run a couple of different ads and see how they'll perform. So again, once I hit promote, it will let me know. If it's approved, it will automatically start running and start spending that $5 a day. And besides Facebook, another platform you might be using, especially if you have a service and you're looking to attract, say, people at the C-suite level and Fortune 500 companies, LinkedIn is going to be an incredible platform for that. I use LinkedIn for my personal posts probably most often compared to posting on behalf of Top Rope Media. So I do have a company profile on LinkedIn, but I don't post as often there as I do with just my regular posts. As an individual on LinkedIn, you know, I can see things like the likes and the comments, and I can get an idea of who's, you know, how many people are liking from where. But if I'm posting and using this from a business standpoint, you can definitely do a lot more. And it shows you, you know, your impressions, your engagement, your click-through rate. But the other thing that's great about using, setting up a business profile on LinkedIn is that you can run ads similar to the way that you do on Facebook. You can promote something that's doing well, or you can share this with a larger audience. So as you can see, I don't get a lot of organic traffic, and I don't have that many followers. It's not a channel that I use that often, specifically for Top Rope Media. And I use it more for, you know, under Meredith McConville. So it is another platform you can use. When you click on, you know, sponsor now, it will take you over to LinkedIn campaigns. And from here, very similar to the way that you set up in Facebook, you can set up a campaign and run different ads to help promote your business. And again, with the same with Facebook as in LinkedIn, I would start small. So keep that budget really small at first and see if this is something that's going to work for you. And also keep in mind, you need to spend a lot of time watching these ads and making sure they're performing. So having someone that's going to run ads for you and keep tabs on it is fantastic. If not, I would try running ads maybe one platform at a time so that you can say, really watch Facebook. How is that performing? If it's not, let me switch to, you know, another platform and maybe try the ads on LinkedIn. Maybe that would work better for you. But again, figure out what works and start, you know, spending your budget wisely. A few more social platforms that we'll talk about quickly is Pinterest would be the first one. If you've got a product it's great to push out content here, but I also use Pinterest as a service. So I'm selling digital marketing to outdoor brands. And so I'm looking for people that are on Pinterest that are searching for ideas on how to, take photography or how to use email campaigns. And what I'll do is create a graphic, and usually in Photoshop, Illustrator, or even using Canva is great, because you can get, a template and then just change out the text and keep that template. Especially if you're not very familiar with design, Canva is a great place to design a graphic. And this one was built in Canva. So I just go in here, add in, the title of my blog post, and then, this is my title for the pin. If you've never created a pin, you just go here, create pin. I drag and drop my image, I add my title, I tell everyone what my pin is about, and I add my destination link here, and I can schedule it or I can publish it immediately. And then it also is going to ask me which board do I want to save it to. And so I have a couple of different boards. Mine is a mix of personal as well as professional boards. But again, I also work in the outdoor lifestyle brand space. So a lot of things that are of interest to me are also of interest to some of the brands I work with, especially things like, hats and beanies, or what's coming up for fall and winter. And so I let, kind of my personal things trickle over into this particular account for Top Rope Media. And one of the most visited pages that I see, and it'll tell you right here how many monthly viewers you have, is people come for travel tips. And they also come for tips on social media. So that's usually what I'm writing blog posts about, because that's what analytics is telling me that people are visiting the most. So I'll usually create content about, how to take better photos or how to write the best blog, but I'll mix that in with blogs on social media or, Facebook ads or SEO. And this is, through my website, you can see here's some of the blogs that I've created. I get a lot of people that ask me about developing brand ambassador programs, so I'll write about that. And I also work with a lot of brand ambassadors, so it makes it really easy. But again, I'm searching keywords and figuring out, okay, what are people looking for? How do I write to help them answer those questions? And so again, do your research first before you start putting copy out there, and then definitely before you start driving ads to your website. And so this is the back end of Pinterest ads. So here we are, on your main page. We said go here to create a pin, but say I wanted to promote one of my pins that I have here, I can click promote here and promote that pin. It's doing well. It's got 155 people have seen it, but that one has 2,300 people that have seen it. So maybe I want to promote this one more. And I just go to ads, and then you'd see the back end of your Pinterest ads. Looks very similar to what you would see for Google ads, or when you start looking at the analytics for Facebook. You see your cost per click, your engagements, your impressions, and again, you can turn your ads on or off depending on how they perform. And I'll go in and show you, this is the back end of Google ads as well. You can see I have 2 campaigns that are set up. Under each campaign, there could be several ads, but that budget is really small. It's just $2 a day. And right now, none of these are turned on. I'm not letting any of these run, so you're not seeing any data here. But again, all of the back end of all of these ad sections on the different channels are going to look pretty similar. And if something is working well, say on Facebook, and maybe it's Facebook and Instagram, I'm seeing a ton of traffic, I may try and just pull that same copy and graphics and use that for an ad on a different platform. Some other platforms that you might want to use, Twitter is great. I'll use Twitter, probably daily. I'm posting something, usually a link to, an article that I find interesting, or maybe I want to share a blog post that I've written. I'll tweet that out. I can also just post photos, and I can tag, where I am, but I can also tag individuals that are might have interest. So for this post on Twitter, I'm tagging a couple of different people that companies that I work with, and I'm using their gear in the images. So I'll tag them in my tweet. Another great way to use Twitter is to reach out to journalists and to talk to journalists that are covering things in your field. So you could search, the Union Tribune, look for articles or posts that are on your topic. You can also search on their, main page to try and find the contact that covers the topic that your business addresses, and start connecting with them through social. Again, Twitter, Instagram as well is another good platform. And you can, message, you can reply to one of their posts that they've put up. You can also retweet one of their posts if you really like the content. But I feel like Twitter is a great way to just continue that conversation. And again, it's a platform you can advertise on, but I don't find I get a lot of conversions from Twitter. I do make, some impressions, but it's not a place where I spend money. The same with YouTube. I have a lot of athletes that use YouTube. They'll get thousands of subscribers that will come in and watch all their videos. It's great if you like putting out video content. If it's a medium that you find is really easy to use, I say definitely try YouTube. Set up your own page. It doesn't cost anything, and you can put short or long videos on here. And if you have a service that you're offering and you want to give people a little bit of information, like how to, file for your 2019 taxes, or how to, make a year-end gift, whatever that is, you can walk people through a video if you find that might be more interesting, instead of just writing copy. So think about, again, what you enjoy, what works for you, and then where you want to spend your time. We talked about Instagram. Again, ads are pushed out through Facebook. You'll also get updates on Instagram when a post is performing well, and you can promote it directly from Instagram instead of going in and setting up an ad in Facebook. Again, I recommend going through Facebook and using that ad center and getting familiar with that before you just boost posts, because all of a sudden you can start spending quite a lot of money on advertising. So I feel like if I'm doing it all within Ad Center, I'm able to keep track of how much money we're spending each month. And that's about it. The last one I'll show you is Hootsuite. So Hootsuite is a platform that you can use to have all of your different social streams on. So here you're seeing my stream for Twitter, and you can also see, my Facebook page, my LinkedIn, and I'm able to post something really quickly across a couple of different platforms here. So Hootsuite is free for up to, I think it's 3 or 4 accounts. And then you have to upgrade if you're putting, if you're managing a lot of different accounts. This makes it really easy because you can just do new posts and you can decide which social networks you want to use. I could post across Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn all at the same time. And it's going to give me a preview for each one as I start writing the copy here. So I can write my copy, I can attach media, I can attach a media file from my computer, I can add the location, and again, here on the right, it's going to show you what that post looks like on each of those networks that you have. And then I can push it to post now, or I can schedule it for later. So Hootsuite, I think, is great if you're managing social media for a couple of different platforms. It definitely cuts down the time it takes for you, instead of posting in Twitter, then opening up LinkedIn, then you can do everything from here. So I really enjoy using Hootsuite, and if I'm managing a lot of social media platforms for different clients, it's a great place for me to keep everything under one roof. I also use a lot of project management tools to help me and keep me on track, so I know how much time I'm spending, especially because social media, all of a sudden, I can look up and see how in the world is it, almost 11 a.m. I feel like I've got nothing done. So I use platforms like Toggl is a great time tracker to help you figure out how much time you're spending. You can open it on your desktop. It's also available on your mobile phone. And again, it just makes it really easy. You just put in your project, start the timer, and it allows me to figure out, okay, how much time was I actually spending doing things like writing a blog or social media or at a meeting or a call. And again, these are different clients that I work with, but you can set this up just for your business. I think it really helps you figure out, like, where should I kind of cut back, and okay, maybe I wasn't spending enough time on that blog. Maybe next month I can spend more time writing blogs. So Toggl, another great application that I'll use kind of to track my projects and what I'm doing. And this is, for social media, but you can use this just to help you project manage. Trello, Asana, Agile are all great tools to help you kind of plan out what you are working on, any content that I need. If I need graphics, I'll just track all of that in here. And then I can share, this is like a board. It almost works like Post-it notes. I can drag and drop these things, but I can invite a whole team to work on these projects with me. So that's Trello, but you can also use a lot of other tools to help you accomplish your tasks for the week. That is about it for social media and digital marketing, as well as ads. Again, if you have more questions, feel free to message me, whether it's through email, meredith@topropemedia.com, or on social. You can reach out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever network you're using. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you got a little bit of information from this.